the Plumbing and HVAC Internet Marketing Show. Discover how to market your plumbing or HVAC business online. From SEO and PPC to Google Maps, reputation management, and social media marketing, we share the ideas and strategies to get your phone ringing, trucks running, and business booming.
All right, well, hello, and thank you for joining me on today's session, the new 2018 SEO formula. We all know that the internet marketing game is constantly changing, especially the Google algorithm, and Google's constantly changing things up. So I like to do this webinar at least on an annual basis. It seems like it should probably be done more frequently than that. But just kind of unpacking, what's changed in the Google algorithm, what's working now, and what you really need to do in order to put your best foot forward to rank your plumbing or HVAC business as well as possible in your service area. Now, this webinar is part of our 2018 Internet Marketing Plan series, where we go deep on really the digital dominance method and all of the things you could and should be doing to really dominate your local marketing place, right? Everything from setting up your website, running pay-per-click, running SEO, leveraging retargeting and paid online directories. That's the digital dominance method. But today's session is really about that initial part, right? It's really the foundation, part one, which is SEO, search engine optimization, getting your plumbing or HVAC company ranked for the most important keywords in your service area. Now, I do need your attention. In today's day and age, with so many different things going on and so many different opportunities to get distracted, I want to ask you to turn off your cell phone, shut down Facebook, shut down any other tabs that you might have running, because if you're a plumbing or HVAC business owner and you're serious about getting better results online, then the next 60 to 90 minutes could potentially change your life. I really feel strongly about that, and what we give our attention to, we get the true result from. So let's just block everything out. You're here, be in the moment, get the true value from what we have to cover, and I promise I'm going to bring great value in today's session. So here's what we're going to cover in a nutshell. We're going to talk about the latest changes and updates in the Google algorithm. Again, it's constantly changing. I'll kind of talk about some of the things you might have put in place that could actually be hurting you now. Whether you did it yourself or you hired a third party, there's things that 9 months ago literally would get you ranked well and were really effective, but today may have actually dropped you out of the search results and slowed you down. But more importantly, I'm going to talk about what you need to do now, how to optimize your website using what we call the new SEO formula, and really what we've tested and what we're seeing work really well with hundreds of plumbing and HVAC companies throughout the country. So just real quick, who I am and why you should listen. I'm the author of The Complete Guide to Internet Marketing for Plumbing Contractors, as well as our book, How to Triple Your Sales by Getting Your Internet Marketing Right. I'm active in PHCC, QSC, Nexstar, Service Roundtable, ACCA. I've had the opportunity to speak at a lot of the industry events, including the QSC, PHCC Connect, and a number of the other events. But ultimately, I'd say more important than any of that stuff is I've had the opportunity to work with hundreds of plumbing and HVAC companies one-on-one in markets all throughout the country, and been able to help move a lot of them from virtual obscurity online, where they were not getting many calls, not getting found, to now where they're the dominant players in their market. I've seen a lot of them go from 3 and 5 man operations to 15 and 20 man operations. Several of them seeing over $1 million in top line growth in their business. And so what I'm going to be sharing with you isn't based on theory. It's not based on something that I read somewhere. It's really based on my experience working with plumbing and HVAC business owners just like you. And this is what we do. As a company, Plumbing and HVAC SEO, we eat, sleep, and breathe internet marketing for plumbing and HVAC companies. I've got a picture up of our team celebrating making the Inc. 5000 list last year. We made it the year prior to that as well. And ultimately, it's what we do, right? We can manage all of this for you: the website, the SEO strategy, the link building, the citation development, the paid search campaigns, and do it for you. But I do want to say that that's not the purpose of this presentation. This is not a veiled sales presentation. Really, the purpose of this presentation is to give you the information and give you the insights so that you understand how it works, how you can make the changes within your business if you need to, and execute, right, and get great results. And for some of you, you're going to say, this was great information. Josh and his teams probably have a pretty good handle on that, and you might be interested in talking with us about how we can help. And if that's something you're interested in, we would welcome the opportunity to sit down with you one-on-one, look at your online marketing strategy, and show you how we can work together to really help you dominate your local marketplace. So let's move in. And as I look at these sessions, right, and I think, is it really important? Is it relevant? And is it something that you, as the owner or marketer of a plumbing or HVAC business, really should care about? Is it really worth your time? And so it really begs the question, does SEO even matter, right? Is it something you should be paying attention to? Because Google obviously is changing the game, and they've changed the game a lot over the last couple of years, to the point where now on mobile devices, the paid ads are all you see before you scroll. There's Google Home Services showing up in a lot of markets throughout the United States, or Google local ads. So, Google's changing the name here and there. Removing paid ads from the side and shifting things around. And so you might wonder, does it even warrant the attention to think about SEO, to optimize a website, to create content? And I've got a screenshot up. This is for a Denver plumber search, right? And you can see we've got the home service ads. In this particular search result, the paid ads didn't come up in a lot of markets. You've got the paid ads and the home service ads. Then you've got the map listings and the organic listings. According to the latest stats and the latest report that I was looking at, despite all of that, 71% of the clicks still go to the organic listings for whatever reason, right? Google's got these paid ads. We know that they're paid ads, and just subconsciously or intentionally, most people scroll down and click the organic results. I'd be curious to hear from you guys, since this is live and I've got a pretty good group here with us. Would you say that's what you do if you're looking for a local home service provider? You don't even think about yourself, but just other companies you're looking for, whether it's from your mobile device or from your desktop. For the most part, you say for the most part you kind of scroll past the ads. Cindy says yes. Good, thank you for participating. Jay-Z says yes. William says yes. Rebecca says, Thomas says yes. I mean, Thomas is asking why that is. I couldn't tell you why it is. I think it's like when you open up a magazine and you're kind of flipping through, you see the ads, and of course there's a play for the ads, but for the most part, you're there to read the content. You want to read the article that was written. I think we think about that when we're looking for service providers. The organic listings are really the content. Now, that's not to say there's not a place for SEO, for pay-per-click advertising. That's not to say there's not a place to be in Google Home Service ads, right? We run paid campaigns. We believe in it. It's part of your digital dominance method. But still, SEO is a big piece of the strategy. A lot of people are clicking it, and just from this little feedback from the group that we have, less than 100 of you here. The vast majority saying, yeah, I click on the organic listings. The other interesting stat is that 67% of the clicks go to the first 5 listings. So that's the top 3 map listings and the 2 below that. 67% of the clicks. So it's pretty important that you're showing up on the first page, that you've got a strategy to rank organically, and that you're not, just kind of thinking, oh, well, Google's going to the paid model, so all I'm going to do is focus on paid. So again, yes, SEO still matters. It's still extremely important. I just want to share a quick example or illustration of that. One of the companies we work with in East Lansing, Michigan, is the Meridian Company, and so there's their website. If we type in East Lansing plumber, East Lansing plumbing, East Lansing drain cleaning, East Lansing AC repair, they're dominant in the map listings and the organic listings. But more important, they've got a pretty diverse marketing strategy. They do SEO, they do pay-per-click, they do social media. They've got a great offline strategy as well with billboard ads and radio ads, a little bit of TV. But their all-in spend on internet marketing is about six grand per month. And you can see, we track this, we can see they generate about 495 leads a month via the internet. What's really interesting, though, is 208 come from organic and 150 come from Google Maps. So when I say SEO strategy, I really mean Google Maps and organic calls that are tracked. So out of their 495 leads, 358 come from organic, right? And their average cost per lead on organic is only $8.21 versus a total weighted average cost per lead of about $12.35. So they get more leads from organic traffic, maps and organic, and their average cost per lead is lower via this channel. So again, and I hope that illustrates the point, yes, SEO still matters. You can't just rely on pay-per-click alone. You can't just rely on pay-per-lead strategies alone. You want to make sure that you got a holistic approach to your internet marketing strategy, and really that's what we're going to dive into now. So let's start with the three big changes in the Google algorithm, and probably the three big gotchas that could sneak up and snap you on the heel if you rolled out some questionable strategies, or probably more likely one of the companies you work with or a subcontractor rolled out some questionable strategies. The first one, and I'm going to dive in more onto this, is you really can't get away with duplicate content anymore, and you haven't been able to over the last probably year and a half to 2 years. Number two, low quality links pointed back to your website could actually hurt you, and I'll dive into kind of why links are still important, but more importantly, why you might be in trouble with this at some level, because it used to work really well. And the third big one that a lot of the plumbing HVAC companies I deal with have kind of struggled with is you have to have a real physical office to rank on Google Maps at this point. So the whole shenanigans around setting up P.O. boxes and using your aunt's house, that gig is up. And so we want to make sure we're playing by Google's rules. We want to make sure we're ranking in the spot where 74% of the people are going to click. And so these are three things you want to really make sure you avoid and that you clean up in your strategy. And so with the whole duplicate content issue, most plumbing HVAC companies serve between a 25 and 50 mile radius, and there's lots of little cities and towns that they touch. And a common strategy that I saw rolled out, is probably one of the things we helped to innovate in this space, was let's make sure we have pages for each one of those cities, right? And then let's make sure we have pages for those cities combined with our top services. That we have a placeholder on Google for this wide swath of things that we do and the areas that we serve. And that still works at a certain level, but where a lot of people get hung up and where I've seen this get screwed up a lot in the past is a lot of companies say, okay, so we serve these 10 cities, right? And that's city 1, city 2, city 3, city 4. And what's the difference? Each one of them is the same services, right? We provide plumbing and drain cleaning and water heaters. And so they would take their content, or whatever the page that they wrote for city 1, and they duplicate it over to city 2, and all they would do is change the city. So from city 1 to city 2, now all of a sudden they've got 10, 15, or 30 pages on their site with very similar content, the only change being the name in the city. And it used to work great. Like I'm talking now, like 3 or 4 years ago, you did that and you ranked for all your little cities, and it was like, wow, you look at all the calls we're getting, look at all our great rankings. In today's market, with the Panda update, it's kind of caught up with it. So what you want to do is make sure if you've got those city pages on your site that they are unique, and that you don't, literally the paragraph structure and what's written on the page for city 1 needs to be different than city 2. And I honestly believe at this point you'd be better served to take, if you have 30 city pages on your site, remove them and then roll out new city pages with unique content, as opposed to just leaving it out there. Because Google will see that, or they already have seen that, and they're seeing it in their index, and it's actually pulling probably your entire website down from an organic perspective at this point. So, really got to be careful with that. The other place where I see this happen is companies setting up microsites. So if their company is Don Jones Plumbing, and that's a random name example, they're John Jones Plumbing, and they've got their website, donjonesplumbing.com. Some SEO person came to them with the bright idea. Let's say Don Jones Plumbing is in Denver. Came up with the bright idea. Well, let's set up Denver Plumber and Plumber in Denver and .com, and let's also buy draincleaningdenver.com, right? And so they set up all of these little domains with microsites, and they used the same content from their main site on the microsite 1 and microsite 2 and microsite 3, thinking, oh man, we're going to rank for all of this stuff because we got all these keyword-rich domains. And now their main site, Don Jones Plumbing, has taken a hit, and none of their subdomains are ranking either of those microsites. And that's, again, this all has to do with this duplicate content issue. So you want to make sure, by all means, I'm going to explain kind of how to do this right, but by all means, have city pages, have service pages, even have microsites targeting specific services if you feel up to it, but make sure that it's unique content and that you're not just copying and pasting similar things with a change of a city or a change of a service throughout those sites and those pages. This is a big gotcha that can harm you, and once it's cleaned up can really help move things along. The other one is having too many irrelevant, low-quality links pointed back to your website. And in today's market, that actually can hurt you. There was a long time, even if you go and read some of the more recent SEO books, 2016, 2015, those books are published, but they were written years prior to actually getting published and getting on the market. So it used to be you set up a website, you get your title tags, your H1 tags, you get some content, you get in the directories, and you get more links than the competition to the home page, to the drain clean page, to the water heater page, to the AC repair page, right, to the City 1, City 2, City 3 page. And if you had more links than the other pages that were competing, you would win the day. And so a lot of you guys hired SEO companies that went out and just went to town with links. They set up links from India, they set up links from Fiverr, they did whatever they could just to get a bunch of links because either it worked or they read somewhere that this was what you do. And right now, if you have a bunch of those bad links, your website probably either slipped off the first page or isn't ranking as well as it should. And so some work needs to be done to evaluate your website, all of the different hyperlinks pointed back to the website, and then identify what's relevant, what's authentic, and what's garbage. And you need to work on removing those bad links, because once you clean up your link profile, there's probably a good base of authority that you should be able to tap into, because links do still matter, right? But they have to be relevant and they have to be quality links. So this is something you really need to look at is, how does your link profile stack up, and are your links potentially hurting you? And then the third major factor is you have to have a physical office to rank well on maps. There's still a couple examples I can point to where, okay, this guy, he's got his aunt's house listed on maps and he's ranking. But for the most part, in Google, if you read the Google forums and you get into what Google's trying to do with Google Local and Google Map listings, they want places where somebody could go and visit. So they want a physical office, they want a showroom of some sort, and so for the most part, the UPS stores, the mailboxes, the virtual offices have kind of been dumped from the Google Map results. And this is also something you should pay close attention to, because even if you have a true physical location in the area that you serve, so you're in Denver and you've got an office in Denver and you've got a legitimate location, but there was some shenanigans years ago where somebody set one up in Boulder and they set one up in whatever the cities around Denver are, and those have all gone away, right? They've already been kind of like dropped out of maps, but it's still in Google's index on Google My Business. your main location may come off maps completely, or it may have slipped from maps. And so there's a process that should be looked at to say, let's find all of those bogus locations and get them deleted, get them removed, get them like disavowed, to get your primary location, your bread and butter, firing back on all cylinders. So, those are the main things you really need to pay attention to. The things that used to work really well. I mean, all three of these things were core strategies 3 to 4 years ago, where you could say, yep, let's create all these city pages with duplicate content. Let's get a bunch of links, and let's set up virtual offices and claim Google Maps pins, and we'll just dominate everywhere. Today, 2018, that's completely not the case. The other thing that's changed is old-fashioned SEO, like we just talked about, really isn't working. In the post-panda, penguin, pigeon era, it's really about user experience optimization. Google cares more about the customer getting a relevant result, the customer having a good experience when they ran a search. And so a lot of the information I'm getting, and I sit in a lot of these high-level SEO conferences and digital marketing expos where I'm hearing directly from some of the executives at Google and higher-level organizations on what's happening. And you may or may not believe it, but when somebody gets to your website from an organic search, even from a map search, Google's really paying close attention to their algorithm, more specifically, to what they're doing when they get to the page. Are they scrolling? Are they clicking? Are they watching? Are they sticking on the page? Are they taking some action? And if your website is creating those types of activities, it improves how Google's going to rank you. So yes, the structure of the site's important. Yes, the off-page factors are important, but the user experience is really almost more important than anything else. So by that I mean, like, what click-through rate does your website have versus the other pages that come up in search? So if we go to Google and we type in Allentown plumber, right? There's only a finite number of results that come up on the first page. Let's call it 14 organic listings. You're in competition with those other 14 companies, and if you're getting clicked more than the competition, that helps you. If you're getting clicked less, that hurts you. So what can you do to improve your click-through rate? Well, making sure that your title tag isn't just keyword stuffed, but it speaks to your customer, makes them feel like, hey, these guys are in my area, they're going to show up on time, they're professional. So making sure your title tag and your meta description, which is what comes up when someone searches, and making it compelling to click, almost like a text ad that you would do in Google AdWords, really think it through, craft it, make it compelling. That's going to help your SEO, and it's something that was never even a factor in terms of how you rank. The scroll rate is really a big deal. So when somebody gets to your site, whether they just kind of sit on that initial frame or whether they scroll down a little bit makes a difference. Google's looking at that. If they clicked on you and they scroll, again, that's giving you extra credit. The time on the page is a big deal. Did they just sit there for a second and then click back? Did they get there for a second and then close the browser? And so what are some things we can do in order to, first of all, get them to scroll, and second of all, get them to stay on the page? And I'm going to share some of the things, but some of the obvious, right? Make sure your page doesn't just fit in a little bubble. Kind of give them a panel of information, but then kind of seed something below that makes them scroll down. It's like, okay, some benefits, features, right? That improves the scroll rate. Using multimedia, especially video, on the homepage, or any page really that you have on your site, where they can click and play a quick video. If you sell it with the image, right? It's like, okay, I want to see whatever it is they're going to say in that video. That's going to improve, first of all, the click-through rate, but also the time on page. So these are the things you want to think about to really optimize in this post-penguin, panda, pigeon era. And then, of course, still the number of citations you have, the number of reviews you have, the number of links you have from relevant sources really has a big impact on how well your website ranks in organic search and how well it's going to rank going forward. So at the highest level possible, right? The new SEO formula, things you need to be doing right now, 2018. First, just like always, you have to figure out what the most important keywords are based on your services, based on your service area, and based on search volume, right? So you want to spend some time getting clear, what are people typing when they need your plumbing, HVAC related services? Which ones get searched more than others? And another critical thing to think about that a lot of people miss is, what are the higher transaction value services that you provide? Because yeah, there might be a ton of search for plumber. There's also a lot of competition for plumber. What are some of the other things that you do that might have a little bit higher transaction value, right? An average plumbing job might be $350 to $450, but how much is a trenchless sewer replacement? How much is a whole home reek pipe, right? And so you want to make sure you don't just look at the search volume, you also look at the commercial intent and the transaction value potential behind certain keywords. And so there's some great tools that help you with this. And I'm going to give you a resource of what we found to be the most commonly searched plumbing and HVAC related keywords to kind of get you off the ground, so to speak. But the keyword tool, if you've got a Google AdWords account, even if you don't have a credit card associated with it, is great. It'll give you great insights on what the more commonly searched terms are. Google doesn't give us as much data as they did years ago, but it's a great starting point to get a sense for what people actually type. WordStream, SpyFu, Google AdWords, which is very similar to the Google keyword tool. These are all resources that will help you identify what those keywords are for you. And what's interesting is, as we do this, again, for hundreds of plumbing HVAC companies throughout the country, you'd think the keywords are the keywords, right? In plumber, plumbing, drain cleaning, water heater installation, water heater repair, boilers. But what's really kind of interesting is that it's different from market to market. A client that we work with in East Lansing, Michigan, their keywords and the cities combined with keywords are a little bit different than somebody in Brooklyn, New York, or somebody in Miami, Florida. So you do want to spend some time figuring out what the core keywords are, but then more importantly, what are the keywords relevant in your market, and really use the geo modification to figure out what's the most relevant. From there, you want to set up a great website with unique pages targeting those keywords, right? So, you're going to wind up with a pool of, let's just call it 50 to 100 keywords, right? And the first one's going to be the most search, which would be probably your city plumber, your city plumbing. But then you want to have pages targeting the other services that you offer and the surrounding cities. So I'm going to show examples of this. Don't feel like I'm just giving you a high-level description. I'm going to drill down and show you live examples of this. But really, you want to have a good website that accomplishes that user experience, right, where they want to scroll, they want to play a video, they want to engage with the site, they don't want to just bounce off. And then we want to go deep with content that's unique for each of our services and each of the cities that we operate in. And then we want to optimize the site, by having the right keywords in the titles, the H1 tags infused throughout the site's interlinking, the usage of the name, address, phone number in the footer and other places on the site, the way we alt tag our images. So you want to really optimize from an SEO perspective, and then you want to build your authority through offsite optimization. So I'm going to talk about how to do that, but really you can have a great website with great content, really well fleshed out from an SEO perspective, but if it's competing against hundreds of other plumbing and HVAC companies and it doesn't have enough authority, it still might not win the day. So a lot of effort, probably at least 60% to 70% of the effort that you put into your online marketing strategy has to be focused on that offline element. And that's how many relevant links you have. That's how many citations you have. That's how many online reviews there are for your company. That's how many web references there are to your organization across the internet. And I'm going to share some specific tactics and strategies on that front. And then, of course, you want to make sure you're tracking your results. There's lots of great tools to track. At a minimum, I suggest like a tool like Bright Local to track your keywords and where you rank on Google and Yahoo and Bing. for those keywords. You want to use call tracking. We really like CallRail because we have the ability to swap. Here's how many calls came from organic. Here's how many came from SEO. Here's how many came from Google Maps, and really drill down like I showed you in the report. And then ideally, if you're in the plumbing and HVAC world, using a tool like Service Titan or House Call Pro, where the lead source or that number from your internet tracking can ring right in to your dispatch platform, and then you can build a revenue and really see, here's how much I spent or invested, here's how many calls I got, here's how many leads came in, and here's my true quantified return on investment. So, I mean, this really is the new SEO formula. I'm going to show you live examples. I'm going to drill down on this for you. But really the first step is to make sure that you're clear on what the most commonly searched plumbing and HVAC related keywords are. So I have this list for you. It's our list of the most commonly searched plumbing HVAC keywords sorted by search volume. And you can download this at plumberseo.net/plumbing-keywords. If somebody could type that in into the chat box, that would help me out a lot. And then there's also hvacSEO.net/keywords. That's our list of the most commonly searched HVAC keywords. So, all right, Rob popped it in. Thank you very much. So, on-site optimization, I'm going to show you examples of this. That's why I kind of skipped through this kind of quickly. But you want to make sure it's got good content. Again, thinking about the user experience, focusing on what they're going to do on the page and what the user is going to read, as opposed to just trying to write it for SEO. Leveraging multimedia, again, to improve that time on page and the engagement with the content. Pages for each of your services, pages for each of your cities, unique content on the city pages, potentially using a tool like Nearby Now, where every service call is automatically synced back to your website, and that creates unique content for the city pages on your site. Making sure you have your keywords in the title tag, the H1 tag, writing a meta description that's written like a text ad that makes somebody really want to click on it, making sure you have your name, address, phone number in the footer, and then doing ongoing blog updates. These are all things that are going to work well from a SEO on-page optimization perspective. So I want to show you a couple of real-world examples of this. So I'm going to pull up Schuler Service. They're a full-service plumbing company in Allentown, Pennsylvania. And I won't spend too much time, but I think seeing an example as opposed to just seeing bullet points tends to work a lot better. So I'm going to go to Google. I'm going to type in Allentown Plumber. So ran that search. We've got Schuler Services up here in the first spot and the number one spot. Like I said, 76% or more of people are clicking right on the organic listings and in the top 5 spots. So, in their market, they are paying on pay-per-click as well, but definitely, they've got these 2 top spots. So let's look at the website through the lens of the new SEO formula, kind of what we've done on this page to make it work and to make it relevant. So first of all, our title tag says Allentown Plumber. We've done our keyword research. We've found in Allentown, that's like the main thing that people are typing in. And so we've got that in the title tag. And then here it says your Allentown Plumber. Heating, plumbing, electrical, and remodeling. We're using multimedia, right? There's a video playing right here built into the homepage. So it's kind of an immersive user experience. But you also notice it kind of encourages you to scroll down because you only see a part of the text below the fold. So as you scroll, right, now I've scrolled, I'm telling Google this is a relevant page to me because I'm scrolling, and then I've got the ability to see multimedia, right? I've got a video right here of Greg Joyce from Schuler Service, right? And I can play that, I can choose not to play it, but having the video on the page accomplishes a couple things. It helps to create that know-like trust factor, like because there's the owner and you kind of want to hear what he has to say. And it also improves the time on page, right? Because if they watch that video, they're going to stick with the page. And then we've also got the home service chats box over here on the right side which is all around engaging the customer, creating a conversation. I just got back from one of the biggest digital marketing conferences in the country and spent 4 full days there, lots of great insights. But one of the biggest things is that your customer is shifting in the way that they want to interact with you. It used to be the only thing they would want to do is pick up a phone and call, right? And I think in plumbing and HVAC that's still the case. But do you like to receive phone calls? Or would you prefer to, if you could, send an email, send a text message, do a chat on Facebook? Somebody in chat tell me, I mean, honestly, would you rather talk on the phone, or would you rather, if it could be completed online via chat, would you rather do it via chat? So Thomas says, yeah. Lori says chat, chat, chat. I say chat, right? And I know you have to get on the phone. We talk with our clients all the time. I don't want to hide behind technology, but if I'm honest with myself, all the time I'm thinking, man, couldn't we have sent an email about this? If I'm talking to my dad, couldn't we have texted real quick and gotten together on the weekend? And that's what people prefer. So you want to be thinking about how you can interact with your customers in a way that's going to be most convenient for them. And chat like this works really well. Chat bots are going to be a big thing where you can start a chat conversation, ask a few questions, get them to the place where they're scheduling their stuff directly online. It's big, but bringing this back to the SEO conversation, when and if they engage in chat, that's passing a user experience message to Google's algorithm because you're staying on the page and you're doing something other than hitting the close box. It has a big impact on conversion. So, you'll see we've got our keywords in the title and the H1 for this particular homepage. We've got great content. This is not like a 50-word page, right? It's rich content about their services, rich content about what their customers are saying. You'll notice some of the keywords infused into the testimonials. We talk about the main services they provide. We've got links out to the core services we really want to focus on, which provides even more authority. There's other things going on this page from a conversion perspective, but from an SEO perspective, right? We've got rich content. We've got our keywords kind of infused intelligently throughout the page. We thought through the user experience, really inciting that scroll, inciting that time on page. So that's kind of layer 1. Layer 2 is we've also got pages for the different services that we provide, right? If we want to rank for not just plumber, but we want to rank for drain cleaning and we want to rank for water heater repair, we need pages for those, right? So I'll just pull up the drain cleaning page. So this page now is targeting drain cleaning, right? And so we've got unique content speaking to Allentown drain cleaning, right? Allentown drain cleaning services. So their keywords are here and here. And then we've got great unique content about drain cleaning. And we've got a lot of multimedia, right? We got a video of the owner talking about if you've got a clogged drain, what could be causing the problem, why to choose Schuler Services to come out and solve it right away. We've got some other supplementary video about drains, right? So this creates a really relevant page that should rank for drain cleaning. So there they are on maps. And actually, in this case, their drain cleaning page outranks everything else because it's the most relevant page for that particular term, Allentown drain cleaning. And we want to do that for all of the services that we know there's search volume for, or we know there's high commercial intent, right? So in their case, they also do water heaters, they do remodeling, they do boiler services, right? And so just as you look at your site, think about what are the different things that you offer. Make sure you have pages for each of those. Make sure that you've got the keyword, your city plus that service in the title, in the H1. You've got some great content. And ideally, potentially, you have some multimedia that give you a boost above the competition for those types of things. So let's just do... I think I spelled Allentown wrong. So there's the remodeling page, right? And that's because we have a page specifically targeting Allentown bathroom remodeling, right? And we've got the remodeling services for the Allentown area. We've got picture, we've got video. So hopefully that kind of gives you a more concise example of what I'm talking about here with creating a strategy around the services and around the keywords that your customers are typing. The other thing you want to think about is the service area, right? I talked about most plumbing HVAC companies serving between a 25 and 50 mile radius. So in Allentown, there's lots of little cities and towns that they serve, right? They serve Macungie, Upper Macungie, Whitehall, right? And we want to have a page with unique content that speaks to each of those different cities and towns. So let's just use Macungie as an example. So this is the Macungie page, unique content. This is the heat map software I was telling you about, where in their case, their technicians have the app Nearby Now installed on their phone, and as they're going about their day, whether they're in Allentown, Bethlehem, Easton, Macungie, they check in, so it captures their GPS location approximately, and they type a description. I don't know if you guys can see this. It's a little hard for me to see, but this shows that Jason was on Gap Road in Macungie, and he was doing a laundry faucet, right? And so every time they do a job, this information automatically populates to the city page on the site, which makes that page, in addition to the unique content, being dynamically updated with geo-modified content. So there's like a actual geo-modified metadata beneath the check-in. And we found that this strategy really works really well to pass Google the signals about the areas that the client actually serves. So, I mean, it's a tool that you might want to look into. It's called Nearby Now, and it has integrations with tools like Service Titan and some of the dispatch platforms, where you, instead of your guys checking in, which is another thing for them to have to do, you close the job, for instance, in Service Titan, and it will automatically post that check-in with the invoice summary details. And when we get that level of automation cooking, it really helps to automate this and accelerate things along. So the whole idea is so that when someone goes in and types in Macungie plumber, we've got a placeholder and we're ranking for that particular term. And ideally, we want to rank for all of the little cities and towns that we operate in, and we want to rank for all of the different services that we provide. So from an on-page perspective, like those are the main things. If we just think about the 80-20 principle, what are the 20% of the things that you can focus on that would generate 80% of the result? Having your keywords in the title tag, the H1 tag, having great unique content throughout the website, having pages for each of your cities, having pages for each of your services, making sure that you've got your name, address, phone number along the footer, and making sure that you're linking from your home page and from your internal pages back to the city pages on your website, and then that you're also updating the website on a consistent basis. So you can't just set up a website with 20 pages and call it a day, right? You have to be finessing it, you have to be updating it, and you should be updating a blog post at least on a monthly basis about information that's relevant to your services, right? Just in this case, 4 plumbing maintenance techniques to keep your home leak-free. A professional drain cleaning appointment can start your year off right. Just information so you're constantly being updated and you're constantly being relevant. And so that's Schuler Service. I showed you the website. I showed you the structure. I showed you some of the keywords that they rank for. They actually rank for over 100 keywords in their cities, in their service area. But really more important is the result and the impact. So Schuler Service, and this is looking at January 1st through the 31st, via the internet had 479 leads. 178 of those came from organic search, and 91 of them came from Google Maps. So, a full 269 leads directly via organic SEO, really as a function of this strategy, this new SEO formula that I've just walked you through. So I'm going to pause. I'm going to show one more example. I won't spend quite as much time on that example, but hopefully it's helpful. I've done this for the last couple of years, and the feedback I always get is, the bullet points and the technical data is great, But really, I need to see more examples. I need to see, like, show me other plumbing companies, show me other HVAC companies, show me what you mean, as opposed to just telling me in a bullet point type fashion. Okay, so Thomas says pretty cool. I would imagine you're talking about the nearby now check-in stuff. Lori says, I'm just doing blog posts. Is just doing blog posts enough, or should we be updating the regular site on a regular basis? You know, you want to update the website a little bit. You don't want to get crazy with changing things around. You know, add a little bit of content, add a couple pictures, infuse video where you can. But blogging, really, it will help. And you don't have to overdo it. There was a long time where we were doing 4 blog posts a month, and we were just cranking out blog content. And what we found was it really didn't have that big of an impact. More important is to do like 1 or 2 quality blog posts a quarter, just to keep relevant content, and then make sure you syndicate that in some way so that it gets picked up on social media, it gets picked up maybe on some of the industry sites, and so you get some authority for that particular blog content that you write. So Thomas is saying, well, what are the what are you using to get those KPIs? Love that you're not selling to sell. You're selling by teaching. Well, thank you very much. So this is a proprietary platform that we use in our company. You know, being that we work with hundreds of plumbing and HVAC companies, we found after years of doing this and reporting all kinds of information, we used to give like ranking reports and analytics, hundreds, you know, multiple pages of just data that our clients didn't really understand and didn't really care that much about. We found that what they really care about is how much did I spend, how many calls did I get, what was my average cost per lead generated, and what's my return on investment, right? And so with our reporting that we custom built for this industry, we really try and break all of that down. So if you wanted to see KPIs, right? If I go back to the first screen, so Schuler invested $78.71 in online marketing. So that's his pay-per-click spend, that's his retargeting spend, that's any social media promotional spend, and that's his management fees with us as a company to set up his website and do his blogging, handle his SEO. So that's all lumped in there. And then we take that and we figure out how many leads they got. And so that's through CallRail, we can see how many calls came in, how many came from SEO, how many came from pay-per-click. Through Google Insights, we can see how many came on Google Maps. And so that gives us a total aggregated lead count. And then we can take that number of spend divided by the number of leads. That gives us an average cost per lead. And then we can kind of filter out where those leads came from. And then we've got another panel on there that projects the return on investment, right? So if you had 479 leads and your average conversion rate is 30%, so not all of the leads are, you know, some of them are callbacks, some of them are existing customers, some of them are solicitors, right? So doesn't mean they do a bad job converting, but kind of our industry standards, let's say like 30%. And then your average transaction value, your average ticket is $450. We can say, okay, so on that $497, you should have generated X amount of service calls at X amount per service call for a total return on investment of whatever. So that, you know, that's what we try and drill down on. And Grant's asking, what does KPI stand for? So KPI stands for Key Performance Indicators. So that's what a KPI is. It's just a key performance indicator. Thomas says, does this include calls, emails, live chats, text, etc.? So it's the calls, it's the web forms. At this point, it's not including the live chats. So that's something we're working with Home Service Chats to pull in so we can have that, because there's a lot of Home Service Chat leads that do flow through the site. So I'm going to show another example, and then I'm going to have one of you guys act as my guinea pig. I'll pull up your site. So start thinking about that, or maybe even post in comments now. Hey, Josh, I want you to guinea pig my site, and we'll go through it real quick and kind of run it through this lens of the new 2018 SEO formula. But let's pull up Lanny's. So Lanny's is a plumbing, HVAC, electrical remodeling company in Fargo, North Dakota. So I'm going to type in heating repair. We already did a plumbing example, so let's look at a heating example, HVAC. A lot of you guys, from what I could tell, are HVAC contractors. So Fargo heating repair, right? Here comes Lanny's in the #1 or map spot, as well as the number one organic spot. This time I'm going to look a little bit at the maps. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. I have a whole webinar on getting ranked on Google Maps, by the way, that I'll be sharing with you. But you'll see their company name is very clean. It doesn't say Lanny's dash plumbing, HVAC, and electrical. There's nothing stuffed in there. It's just their raw company name. Their address is the correct address for the company, very, very concise. And they've got 294 reviews. So what we find with maps is it really boils down to having more citations or references to your company's name, address, phone number across the web, having consistency of how you're referenced across all of those citations, and the number of online reviews you have on Google, on Angie's List, on Yelp, on City Search. And so they've got 294 reviews. So you kind of combine all of that, and that's why them and a lot of the clients we work with were able to win the day and make them more dominant on maps, more dominant organically, and get their lion's share of that 76% of the search that's happening. So I'm not going to spend as much time here. I'm just going to pull up their site and kind of walk you through, again, kind of the strategy, right? Plumbing, heating, cooling, electrical, Fargo, Moore's Head. So in their case, they do more than just plumbing. They serve more than just Fargo. So we have to be a little creative with what we put in our title tag. It does kind of incite you to scroll down. It's a nice, tight, conversion-focused box, but it does incite you to scroll down just a tad and see like what else is on here. And there's a lot, and it's kind of panelized, so it brings your eyes to the next section of content that you want to look at. There's a video, ideally, to get them to play and stick on the page a little bit longer. Good, unique content. You'll notice none of our sites are really lean content. There's a lot of information, a lot of text, which makes it more relevant from an SEO perspective. And then, you'll see we've got pages for each of the plumbing-related services, pages for each of the heating-related services, pages for the cooling services, pages for the indoor comfort services. The key here is you want to structure in a way that doesn't overwhelm your customers, right, when they get to the page. The other key is to make sure that content is unique. It needs to be completely unique to you and your company, as opposed to using the same stuff again and again. And then we got pages for each of the cities that they operate in, with a unique page for each one, combined with plumbing, heating, cooling, and electrical. So without getting too crazy, we've got all of our bases covered. Obviously, we've got our title tags with our keywords in them. We've got our H1s with our keywords in them, and it works really well. So that's Laney's. I almost hesitate to show this example because the lead flow is just so significant. I don't want to paint expectations that this is what you should expect in your plumbing or HVAC business. This is one of those things where it's like results are not typical, but these are the legitimate numbers for Laney's. In January, 930 leads generated, 326 came from organic, 568 from Google Maps, and 36 from web forms, and an average cost per lead on their $2,500 investment of $2.68. Realistically, you want these numbers to be more in the, ideally, as long as it's less than $40 to $50 per lead. Most plumbing and HVAC companies can monetize that really well and have great scalability. So don't go beat your guys up and say, oh, well, Josh showed me an example of a company that's getting 900 leads a month. This is probably, I would say, from a tracking perspective, the best case scenario, right? I mean, they're in a great market. They're extremely dominant. They've also got a lot of branding going on, so there's a lot of other things that bring authority to their company. But that's another example. So I'm going to pop into questions. I do want to do at least one example. I see a couple of you put your names in the hat. So awesome. Thank you for volunteering. Let me just see. So Rebecca asked H1. What's H1? So let me explain that to you guys. So this is your title tag, right? And that's one of the main things Google looks at. And then this is your H1. So it's within the coding of your page. It's a bracket, H1, and you're kind of structuring your content in a way to say, Google, this is what this page is about. Title tag, H1 tag, H2 tag. And so you want to leverage those with your keywords throughout the page. So especially, so you got plumbers, HVAC, electricians, right? Especially as it relates to the H1, the main thing, that first thing that comes up on the home page and the service pages. So, like for instance, on this drain cleaning page, we've got the title tag, drain cleaning, repair, removal, clog removal in Fargo, North Dakota, and then we've got our H1, Fargo drain cleaning, repair, clog removal experts, right? So hopefully that explains what the H1 is. All right, so I'm going to go back here. I'm going to go with Collins Heating and Cooling. Rob volunteered himself. The maid crew, I appreciate you volunteering yourself, but I do want to keep these examples plumbing and HVAC centric. So we're on Collins Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. So I want you guys to put on your SEO thought caps, because as you go back to your day-to-day, you know, you're going to need to be able to look at your stuff and see, okay, do I have this right? Am I missing something? Does it make sense? So now we're going to practice what we just learned, right? So you can look, now you're going to be able to look at any website and be able to see, okay, what's this targeting? Is it targeting correctly? Should there be some things that should be tweaked? So what stands out, and I'm going to look at their title, right? That's the first thing I want to look at. It says Collins Heating, Cooling, HVAC, Highland, Indiana, right? And then heating and air conditioning services in Northwest Indiana. Got some stuff about the different services. Got the name, address, phone number. I would imagine this probably does pretty well in Highlands. We do have our keywords in the H1. I mean, in the title. We have it here. I would like, I mean, maybe to see Highland up here, but maybe that's too constrictive in a case like this. Could be, I mean, could be a little bit more compelling in terms of how it scrolls down. From a conversion perspective, I would like to see a phone number up here in the top right-hand corner. But I mean, from a basic perspective, probably HVAC. Let's see. I might have spelled Highlands wrong. Higland. I might have typed that wrong, so don't beat me up. It could be, you know, obviously there's some things that could be better in terms of the titles and the H1s on the homepage. Could also be that you need more authority, right? I'm going to talk now about how to build the authority and how to get your pages ranked in organic search. But I mean, the on-page stuff has a big impact. So let's look. We do have an air conditioning installation page. Let's see. So and it's got in the title, air conditioning installation, Highland, Indiana, Collins Heating and Cooling, and then we got H1. I'd like to get a geo modifier somewhere here in the header. Let's see, heating. We got some heating pages. Let's see, furnace service, Highland, Indiana. Yep, we've got that. So I mean, pretty good, right? We got pages for each of the services. One thing I would say is we want a page for these cities, right? So if you serve Munster and Hammond and Dyer and surrounding northwestern Indiana area, let's get a page for that. Let's get some unique content on it and give ourselves the opportunity to rank for more of those surrounding cities. So there's Highland. I actually copied it straight through. So they do rank on the first page a little ways down. So now we're going to talk about how do we build the authority. So we move from like in the middle of the page up the pack. So thank you very much. Hopefully this is good, some good feedback. More importantly, some ideas more concrete for you guys to say, all right, now I've seen a real example. I've seen like somebody get kind of some evaluation, and then hopefully it lends some insight on how to go and execute this in your own plumbing and HVAC company. Did we get anyone to volunteer plumbing site? Let's see. All right, so RBP Inc. This was Richard. Awesome, Richard. Thank you very much for volunteering your site. So let's see what we have here. So plumber, AC and heating, Los Angeles, Orange County, RC. So I will say Los Angeles, extremely competitive, and Orange County. We do have our keywords in the title tag. We come down here, RBC Inc., LA in Orange County, Elite Plumbing, Heating, Air Conditioning Services in Buena Park, Long Beach. So we've got our keywords in the title. We've got our keyword in the H1. We're mentioning some of the surrounding cities and surrounding towns. So at least it passes the initial, pass from that. It does kind of incite scroll a little bit. Video on the homepage would probably help, Richard, just to kind of get somebody to engage a little bit longer on the page. Looks like the testimonial widget might not be working completely, but it looks like we have pages for each of the services, so that's good. Let's look at one of them. Water heater repair and installation, Orange County and LA, California. So covering it, that's what we're targeting. It's covering it. Probably serving water heater installation to these surrounding areas. So, the primary bases are covered. It looks like we've got cities served in here. Let's see. Anaheim, Buena Park, Cerritos, Long Beach. Let's see. So, plumbing, heating, repair in Long Beach, California. I don't have time to look and see if this content is unique. It looks a little bit SEO centric, these city pages, so you might want to beef them up, get a little bit of imagery in here, get the nearby now check-in system possibly in place where the check-ins and unique content is posting to these pages. But for the most part, this website's pretty well optimized from an on-page perspective. So good. Hopefully this gives you guys some examples. A bunch of you now have put your stuff in here, and I'm excited about that. If you like, what I'll do is I'll do a little video after, so this session doesn't go too long. I've got Discount Plumbing, I've got Greens Plumbing Company, I've got Burns. I'm gonna save you guys, and I will follow up with you afterwards with a little breakdown. So let's do that, so we don't wind up going too long. But okay, so awesome. Thank you guys for sharing your examples. Hopefully, this is pretty concrete, right? I mean, this is not rocket science. We're talking about pages for each of your services, pages for each of your cities, getting our keywords in the title tags, the H1 tags, and then really where the rubber meets the road is the off-page optimization. And this is the difference between ranking on the first page and ranking on the fifth page, right? You can have a good page with good titles and good H1s and good content, but if you don't have enough authority to even get into the game where Google's tracking your click-through rate and tracking your scroll rate, you're not going to rank. So this is really where you have to make sure you've got a claimed and optimized Google My Business listing. You've got lots of citations, so that means you're on Angie's List and City Search and Best of the Web and Hot Frog and localplumber.com and all of these different directories with your company's name, address, and phone number. You want to have lots of reviews for your company, leveraging some of the great tools that are out there like Review Buzz, Customer Lobby, Nearby Now, Bird Eye, sending an email, making sure you have a process where after every service call, email goes to the customer, thanking them for their business, asking them for a review. There's lots of tools that do it. My favorite right now happens to be Nearby Now in conjunction with Service Titan. The beauty of it is job is completed, email goes to the customer. If they're already Google users or they're already logged in, when they go press review, it takes them straight to Google, and all they got to do is type their review, helping to drive more online reviews in an automated way. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's making sure an email goes out, making it easy for the customer to write a review. That's what's going to build your authority, and then building links from other websites back to your website in a congruent way. So we talked about the beginning. Lots of links is not the answer. Quality, relevant links truly is the answer. So how do you build links? So I've got this visual. It kind of helps paint a picture of some of the easiest ways. So making sure you're in the online directories. If you're a member of organizations like Nexstar, Service Roundtable, PHCC, QSC, a lot of times they have member directories that are public that you can get yourself added to, which would build some authority. Finding referral partners that you exchange business with and writing content that links to them and having them write content that links to you. A lot of times they're in your local area. It's relevant to write something, especially if you're like a plumbing company and you refer a lot of business to damage restoration company. You could write something about the challenges of of mold, right? With the way that your plumbing is structured. You write a little article about that, and then, hey, by the way, great company here in the local market that's great at this is XYZ, damage restoration, right? But you work out in advance. I'm going to write something that links to you, and you're going to write something that links to me, right? And theirs might be something about, why having a certified professional plumbing company is critical for protecting your home from mold, right? I'm just giving some examples, right? But there are affiliate organizations that have authority that are in your service area that you can cross-link without being spammy, without penalizing yourself. The buying organizations that you're a part of, if you buy from Moen, if you buy from American Standard, if you buy from Bryant, a lot of times they have dealer networks where you can get yourself added. If you create a case study about a cool installation that you did with their technology and you share that on your site and then you tell them, hey, look, I wrote this great case study on how to use tankless water heaters in an innovative way, a lot of times they'll share that. Maybe they'll post it on their social profiles. That creates authority. So I don't want to go too ad nauseum, but there's a lot of creative things you can do that will get authority and build links back to your website. But one of my favorites is what we call competitive link acquisition. And this is the process of looking at the companies that rank in your area. So if you're in Tampa, right, and you want to rank for Tampa plumber, go to Google, look at the companies that are ranking on page 1 for that term, Tampa plumber, and then pop that into a tool like Ahrefs. That's one of the best ones, Ahrefs. You put it in there, and it will spit out a profile of all of the links that they have. And so then you can go and see, okay, what does the #1 company in my market have that I don't? And go and create content, claim yourself in directories, add yourself to those sites. And then go to the second one and do the same, and go to the third one and do the same. And assuming you've got the on-page fundamentals like I've outlined for you, you've got a good website with great content that's focused on the user experience, that has pages for the services, pages for the cities, you're in all of the major online directories, and you start to get these links that your main competitors have, you will start to win the day. And that's where you can be the #1 company, getting a lion's share of the search volume in your market. So those are some very specific and tactical tools that you can use to help kind of figure out where to get these links and where to get these citations. So let me just pop in. So Spooky's asking about Ahrefs. I'll post a link to it. It's just a tool. It's an SEO specific tool that helps you look at how to build links and see what your competition's links are. So in high level summary, right? We want to set up a great website with pages for each of our services and each of the cities that we serve. We want to get our keywords and geo modifiers for the cities that we serve into the title tags and the H1 tags throughout the website. We want to use unique content, no duplicate content. Please don't copy and paste from one site to another. Please don't go to another plumbing or HVAC company and copy and paste from them. Please don't let your web development company do content without double checking to make sure that they didn't use anything duplicate. Leverage multimedia to enhance the page on page, time on page, and reduce the bounce rate. So that's videos, ideally authentic videos of you speaking to the camera or the owner speaking to the camera. Get more online reviews across the web. Build your citations and make sure you've got consistency of your name, address, and phone number. And then post updated content on an ongoing basis and get creative with how you can build your links and authority. And if you're creating content, do a press release about it. Get it added to the associations that you're part of, right? Some of the strategies that I already unpacked for you. And then leverage paid search to identify high converting keywords. So, this is all about SEO. We know the lion's share of traffic goes to the organic listings, but again, you still should be playing in paid search. You still should be paying attention to Google Home Service ads. And one of the great things about pay-per-click advertising specifically is that it helps you identify the keywords that actually generate calls that you might not be able to drill down on in the absence of a paid search campaign. So, ideally, if you do this stuff, I've showed you examples, I've showed you case studies, you're going to rank better, you're going to generate more calls, and you're going to get a lift in the revenue and the amount of trucks and really the growth within your plumbing or HVAC business. I see some questions here. I'm gonna get to them. Hopefully you've gotten great value from this. You've got some clear insights on what you need to do differently now in 2018 than you did potentially in the past. And nothing else, a clear roadmap on how to really optimize your website for the organic listings. If you'd like to talk with us, if you'd like to have us look at your website, kind of doing an analysis of your online visibility, develop a list of keywords based on our experience of what's going to be most relevant for you in your market, run a report to show you exactly where you rank on Google and Yahoo and Bing for those keywords, do an analysis of your online directories to determine whether there's a consistency issue, whether there's an issue with the links that you have out there, an analysis of your online reviews, your online reputation, and really help you determine what you need to do in order to more fully dominate your local marketplace, really maximize your lead flow online. We'd love the opportunity to get together with you. You can call us here at the office, 866-610-4647. Again, we'll do that for you completely free of charge. Whether we wind up doing business or not, you'll walk away with some clear insights on where your website potentially could be improved, what keywords would be most relevant for you to focus on in your area. So, with that said, I will come back to the questions. Thank you so much for your time. It was an honor to serve you. It's an honor to kind of share what we're seeing and what this new 2018 SEO formula really looks like. Let's see, and post your questions now because I am here to answer your questions. So Spooky asked about Ahrefs. So that is ahrefs.com, and it's a great SEO tool. Let's see. Is there a way to check if you have duplicate content? That's a great question by Lori Mooney. I think Hawaii, right? There's a great site called Create Space. And Create Space, you put in any block of content, and it will quickly tell you this is duplicate. This is found somewhere else on the internet. So create. That's not the right word. I'm going to find out for you, and I'll send an email after the fact confirming. There is a tool for that. Somebody wrote, "Thank you, Mr. Nelson. I'm new to the business, getting ready to start in the next month or so. Virtually no budget, so I've learned from you, and it's going to help me a lot. Look forward to maybe working with you guys in the future." Awesome, man. And you know what? I love helping guys like you really just kind of get their ground, figure out what the right strategy is, make sure you set a good internet marketing strategy in place. And good, I'm glad you're learning, right? Because that's the most important thing, is to educate yourself so that you can do some of it on your own as you bootstrap, and then as you grow, you can make sure you hire someone that really understands how to make this stuff work and isn't just going to take you for a ride. Jonathan's asking about Copyscape, by the way, guys. It's Copyscape is the tool that will help you figure out whether you have duplicate content or not. Jonathan's asking, how important is SSL? I see they're not. It is important. Google has made some announcements about SSL, in Google Chrome, not SSL, potentially dinging sites. Obviously, Lanny's still dominant, still getting hundreds and hundreds of calls every single month. We're moving him to SSL. All of our clients are being moved to SSL. We just want to make sure we do it the right way. So it's happening in waves. But yeah, it's a great question. Susan to the rescue with Copyscape. Thanks for watching the webinar. I'd love to get your feedback, by the way. Susan Kimball from Nexstar. Let's see, Lori, call tracking is confusing. Does it mess up your NAP? It doesn't if you do it right. So what we recommend is on your website, if you use a tool like CallRail or Marchex, there's lots of different ways to do it. You put a piece of code that will swap based on source. So when they get to the site, Google will see the main company number if they go, if they spider it. If they get to it via Google, Google paid search, they'd see a paid search number. If they get to it via organic, they'd see an organic tracking number. The key is whatever number you use in your directories, Google and Angie's List and City Search, you want that to be the same. You want that to be consistent. So when Google looks at you across the web, they see this is their company name, this is their phone number, and this is their address. So you can either use your main company number. We beta tested this using a different tracking number. All right, this is going to be our online directory number. And we found that as long as it's consistent across the web, it doesn't really hurt your rankings. It will hurt you if you've got one number here, one number there, a different number on your website. That can mess with your NAP and really negatively impact your Google Maps rankings. Spooky tells me she's Noreen Thomas. Thank you very much. I'm not just looking at Spooky and wondering who that is. MJ Septic. Mr. Nelson, thank you for the education. Can you please tell me what is a good SEO company that I should deal with? Yes, you should deal with ours, right? There's lots of good SEO companies out there. I don't know whether we'd be a fit for you or not, but I would love the opportunity to chat with you and talk about how we can work together. So Spooky's asking, we're moving offices to a new address. How does that impact rankings? It can negatively impact rankings. Even if you've got a great address and it's legit and you move from point A to point B, that changes your name, address, phone number on Google, on Yelp, on Angie's List. And even if you're really aggressive with it, it can be a little bit of a challenge. So, make sure you've got somebody that's paying close attention, that uses one of the Google APIs to tie into all of the different online directory listings. Because if you just change it in one place, it will negatively impact your rankings. MJ Septic says, thank you for your time. Thank you. I appreciate you joining me. How do you feel? So Jonathan is asking, how do you feel about citation service like Yext or Sign Up? I'm a big fan of Yext. We're Yext certified partners. I was against it for years and years. What we found is Yext is basically bolted into the top 57 online directories. And the speed of update really can't be matched with manual processing. So what we used to do, have an Excel sheet, every single one of the online directory listings, and we would go in and enter our information and modify them one by one, and we felt like we had great control, and we didn't have like a company like Yext that could go in and mess with us. But as time progressed, we would change it in one place, but it wouldn't update or it wouldn't sync, and there would be wasted time, not just on our energy updating it, but we change it today, and a week later, it's still not live in the on the site. And so, using a tool like Yext, Sign Up, there's other tools now that are doing this. I think it's preferential. Obviously, it's better to go through an agency like ours for that type of thing, because agencies get very, very preferential pricing and can execute it for you less expensively than if you were to go and just sign up directly through a tool like Yext. But that's a good question. Great feedback, guys. I really appreciate the engagement. I appreciate the questions. Anything else, SEO or not, go ahead and put it in the questions box, and we will close this out. So, thank you guys. Again, you guys have the new SEO formula. If you'd like to work with us or have us look at what we do, give us a call at 866-610-4647 or go to plumberseo.net/schedule. And I'm just going to check one thing. I'm on live on Facebook, and we just wanted to see if there was anybody commenting that I should engage with. So it looks like we got David in there. He answered my copyscape question. Darren's on there. He said chat. We've got a couple people watching us live in the Facebook feed too. So thanks for joining us from Facebook, guys. Thanks for joining me on today's webinar. As always, it's my honor to serve you. I look forward to seeing you on a future session. And if you have any questions, shoot me an email. It's josh@plumberseo.net, or give us a call, 866-610-4647. Talk to you soon.
The Plumbing and HVAC Internet Marketing Show. Discover how to market your plumbing or HVAC business online. From SEO and PPC to Google Maps, reputation management, and social media marketing, we share the ideas and strategies to get your phone ringing, trucks running, and business booming.